more than happy to announce our panel discussion that's powered by Esquire is about to begin. The entire concept depends on the season is titled to blend behind the aesthetic. Good design is not just about how something looks. Today, people care more about the meaning behind it, why it was made, what inspired it, and what its story tells. That story makes us connect with it. It turns a photo, a dress, a place, or even a product into something personal and memorable. In a world where everyone has access to styles, it's the story that makes design feel special and valuable. And I would just want to welcome all the esteemed panelists making their way to the center stage that we have Mr. Mayuk Majumdar, who's the Deputy Editor, Esquire India. Please give it up for him. We have Mr. Prachar Rao, the Principal Designer from Design House. Please, a ground of applause from them. Miss Malini Agarwal, who's the founder and ex-creative director of Miss Malini and co-founder of Idea Factory. Miss R.T. Vijay Gupta, who's a fashion designer. Let's have a round of applause, everyone. And Mr. Vaishnav Praveen, who's a co-founder of the House of Pixels. Give a round of applause, and we finally start the panel discussion that everyone is waiting for. Over to you, the esteemed panelists.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us this afternoon. My name is Mayuk Majumdar, and I'm the Deputy Editor of Esquire India. One of the things that I really love about my job is that I get to have a thought, and then I have access to amazing people to explore that thought with. When we were deciding the topic of the panel, we thought that we didn't want to limit design to interiors and chairs and tables because design is so pervasive to every aspect of our life. I mean, take the example of a ceramic cup, for instance. Now, as someone who has grown up on a steady diet of Jane Austen, when I look at a ceramic cup, I'm instantly transported to Elizabeth Bennet's kitchen. And I'm just waiting for Mr. Darcy to storm in. But someone else will look at that ceramic cup and think it's an example of poor design because they might say, oh, it is flimsy. I need a jug of coffee every morning. This can only hold about 3 teaspoons of coffee. So, in a world that is so design literate and has so much access to what aesthetics are, you cannot just say that good design is justified because of the price point it demands or the house or the brand that it belongs to. Good design is something that has a storytelling behind it. It is the narrative that we attach to it. It evokes memory and emotion. And today I'm very pleased to be joined by such great storytellers from different fields who will explore this whole idea of behind the aesthetic of why storytelling is the most important aspect of what constitutes good design. Yeah, it's so interesting that you talk about the temple because recently at the NMACC, they have this exhibition called Bhakti. You're showcasing it in something that is so culturally opposite in a different part of the world.
So basically, a brand, Aarti Vijay Gupta, is always been like the central theme is Indian art. Mostly like a long lost, forgotten Indian art, which most of the Indians don't even know about. So my research started with historical places of London to put up the art form, which is as historical, like, uh, you know, um, uh, Kalighat paintings. It is about 110 years old art. Is from the early 19th century. And I want it to be a place to be as historical, as art oriented, as spiritual, because there is a certain spirituality about that art form. I mean, you see a current issue like a husband wife playing or a woman combing the hair. You feel a certain calmness when you look at that art. It is beautiful. So this is the kind of place I wanted, that has also that kind of serenity, that kind of historical, heritage thing, and it should be as grand as this art is. And coincidentally, out of all the cathedrals that we were looking for, because when we came to heritage, we got the thing that there are a lot of beautiful cathedrals in London. When we came to St. John's, I found out that it is known for its music, you know. And the best part about Kalighat, in when Patuas were selling art, so they used to go door to door to everybody's house, open the scroll, and sing the story behind that art form that that the artist is selling. It is called as Patua Gan, and that's the backdrop of the show that we used. It's beautiful. It's so soulful.
No, I think what you've displayed in real time is how brands these days, and this was actually my next question.
It's quite magical.
Yeah. And Supraja, I was reading this interview of yours, and it was so interesting to me because I think I don't remember the exact quote, but it was something along the lines of the client is the protagonist, and you design everything else is designed around that. And I was thinking about the idea of our panel, which is storytelling behind design and protagonist. That's something that we used for stories, right? So, when you are designing a house and you get a brief, how much of um, this protagonist's personal story kind of defines the architecture of the space?
Uh, so my spaces are really about the people who occupy this space. So it's the context. And then we put together a story for them. Sometimes the brief is very, very loose. Um,
Yeah.
Especially when you made money and you want something, the brief is almost like, I want a beautiful house. And then you ask questions and you don't really get answers. So then I'm saying, okay, tell me what you don't like, just to understand. But sometimes you don't get too much of it. Like you propose, we'll kind of comment on it. So I'll just tell you one of our design stories, which is probably about 15 years ago. I mean, pre where people would just do calls on Zoom. I remember getting an inquiry from someone living in California to do an apartment in a high rise. Back then, it was still high rise, 30th, 30th floor in Hyderabad, for his parents to move into the apartment because they wanted their two little girls to go every summer and spend time with their grandparents. So I thought, I mean, Indian American kids who wouldn't know anything about culture, stories, festivals, unless they're exposed to it. And I think that was the idea. So we designed this apartment as a house of festivals and South Indian festivals. So each of the spaces, like the entrance was, in the south of India, most parts of India, I think there's mango leaf, the torans, we got that hand painted and all. But most important, every room we celebrated a festival. So there was a room on Dussehra, on Diwali, on Holi, and so the Holi was the girls' room where we did ombre curtains and we did some dandelions, and I don't remember too much, but I want to live there.
Yeah, yeah.
And the Diwali room was, and I'm forgetting also what I did, but I'll tell you one room we did, which is the grandparents' room. Um, they were from a place near Kuchupudi. So then we detailed, the handles of the mudras, which are now done, but I'm talking about 15 years ago. And we proposed that when the girls are here, we'll get them dressed in the Kuchipudi attire, take photographs, and put up. And we did this entire project only on Skype call. We never met the client.
My God. Okay.
We met them after we finished a few months later, whichever summer they came, we met. And though I am a Teluguite, I do not know how to read and write Telugu.
Okay.
And that's one of my biggest regrets. About 10 years ago or something, I even bought a double rolled notebook and I would every night sit and write A. I never went beyond those two lines. So what I did, so when I was really young, my brother taught me one alphabet saying that Hindi wala D is Telugu wala K. That's it. I knew one alphabet. So if anything starts, because my grandparents' village is called Korutla, and I would look at a K and a shot and I'll say that's Korutla in that name. So what I did for them is I did with this craft called Tolubamlata, it's leather puppetry. I got the artist to make alphabet lights. I did A, I, U, U. I think about 6 of them. So they hang as individual and usually they're colored. So when they make the drawing, it's initially black and white. So that black and white, the Telugu alphabet lights in the drawing room and the dining room. And I got commercial artists to paint maps of the region where they belong to. And I said, that's going to be a game for these kids that they go look and saying, okay, you stare at it for 30 seconds and write down. They may write Tenali, Rajamandri, names that they will not otherwise be
Yeah.
acquainted. And then it just becomes. So not only was storytelling, there was games, there was fun, there was a lot. Like in the Dashera scheme theme room, we got this leather puppetry artist to work on paper and tell the entire story of Ramayana, right?
Yes.
I'm pretty bad with this, but yeah, on the wardrobes, we did the whole storytelling of that. So I really try and do an interesting way of telling stories based on context, and not necessarily the brief is
Yeah.
anywhere near what we've done, but we try and challenge.
So what did the clients say after that?
Oh, they loved it. They loved it. They saw obviously on video calls before, and when they came, we met them first time at the house, which was fully done. And it's a while. I must check how the house is doing and how the girls are doing. Do they know more places in Andhra Pradesh? It was Andhra Pradesh. All of it was Andhra Pradesh back then.
You've been working with brands over so many years, and have you seen this emphasis now on the story? Like when the brief comes in, it's no longer like, okay, like it has to be beautiful because duh, it has to be beautiful. But also, what story do they want to portray?
Okay, to be giving you a reality check on things right now with the kind of work which we get, you get like you to have people coming with you with a story or maybe like say a kind of a thought
Yeah.
process for a campaign. But sometimes people do come with very generic and very basic kind of mood boarding, which is easily available. So in this process, like say what I normally see is like maybe try and add a lot more story to something which is as generic as a basic brief. And then I always I get excited when I work on projects where they come with a storyline because that's the base of it, and that just changes the entire narrative. It changes the landscape. It changes the way you look at things, the light you're going to be using, the kind of people you're going to be casting, the what kind of styling it requires, and that just adds so much to the particular brand campaign, and it adds so much value to that, and it's also very memorable. And if you see years back, like say around 10 years back, you find amazing iconic ads, but now you actually don't, because now people pick quantity over quality, or maybe like say they sometimes don't care about the storyline, or sometimes they don't they don't want to say a story. But when people do come with that, you need to respect that and add a lot more value to it. Like I've done a couple of campaigns where it's very specific towards like a certain region or certain property or something, where you need to make sure that you add all the elements and do a proper research on it so that it's not wrong and it looks correct. At the same time, make sure that every single thing has been done really very well in each step, and even a post production also matters to that, where it all has to look authentic, and that just adds a lot more value and experience to even to work around a particular campaign. Like that just makes me very happy.
I think Vaishnav, on storytelling, for those in the audience or even my friends who haven't seen the booth designs, all of them have such brilliant storytelling. I haven't seen all of them, but from whatever few I have seen, it's really amazing. And congratulations to the entire team at Design POV.
Truly, no, yeah.
Yeah, there's something
The entire team of
having a fresh take on designs. It's very refreshing. I also love that it's, Echoes of Tomorrow. I did, before I saw all the spaces, I was like, it does feel futuristic. It just feels like your space is so gorgeous as well. And if you go and you listen carefully, he's playing the Chicago sound. You're actually, what is the booth?
what booth is that?
It's his artist booth in
Oh,
the.
that's nice. We will definitely follow you.
I think we have a question.
Hi guys, it was a fantastic panel. I have enjoyed quite a bit, and you guys are inspiring. Thank you for today. My question is a two-part question. Uh, I did my master's in London. I had been there, so I was struggling when I went there. The narrative of India, like the global narrative, which is changing step by step, but you still see how people bash us left and right for our culture. What would your suggestion to young storytellers be to stick and change that narrative throughout the next few years, and how could we change that globally, the way people look at us?
I can take that. It's
Yeah.
one of my favorite questions. So I'll take that first before I interview you. I think if we are India proud, we're proud of our culture, we're proud of our food, we're proud that we eat with our hand and not feel ashamed that we eat with our hand, not feel ashamed that we can sit on a squat, right? I mean, we've adapted to the world. We've looked far too long outward and westward. And I think if we just look inward, eastward, and start appreciating
Yeah.
ourselves, and then the world will pause and look at us and appreciate us because, firstly, we're apologetic.
Yeah.
And most Indians are bashing up Indians and Indian culture all over the world. They're not proud of who they are. So I think it has to just begin there.
I think when it comes to fashion, I feel the entire global fashion industry is looking at us right now with Kolhapuri chappals for the Prada show, with the Punjabi music on the
Rickshaw
Louis Vuitton show, with a rickshaw bag. And I think even when I did the show at London, I think my show was much more covered by as compared to other shows because it was so different and it was so original. It was the historical paintings. I think everybody is looking at us with wide eyed, and I think in the next 10-15 years India will be ruling because everyone is looking at us, and most of our cultures like eating like Ayurveda, the food, the way you were saying squatting on the foothold. I mean, these are actually good for everything, and eventually I see the entire world doing exactly what we are doing, what we have been doing for many many decades, like yoga, uh, getting into vegan things, and everything is completely originated from India. Ayurveda, yoga, now all this chemical free cosmetics is basically Indian, Ayurvedic. So I think we don't have to do anything. We are just there because we are the best.
No, I love that. Yeah, absolute. I think the other sense I get, and maybe I'm wrong, but I sometimes feel like why should we give them access when they don't deserve us? Is sometimes where the feeling comes from. But I'll give you an example. I think I was being like 11 or 12 years old, and I went to visit my sister when she lived there, and I remember some boys were like kind of teasing me, but I was too scared to speak up. And today I would smack them, right? But I think the point is that be loud, be proud, and and actually my husband told me this, where sometimes I'd be like, how come people are nice to me now and they weren't nice to me when I wasn't important enough? And he gave me a really good perspective. He said that maybe at that point they didn't know what to talk to you about, or they didn't have context to talk to you. So maybe don't take it as an insult. Maybe not take it as an opportunity. And as like you said, Abito, now London to Bakta basically.
Yeah.
So seriously, I think entire world is watching us and they're following us directly. I mean, they are just following us. I mean, you see anything, any field, they're mostly looking towards us. I feel so. I mean,
But Aarti, I think it's important as Indians that we go deeper into our history, our culture, and learn it thoroughly and not take it at a very superficial level. What's going around is at a very superficial
Totally
level.
agree to that.
So I think, whether it's a language, Sanskrit is so many things we have. And I hope our education system starts bringing in um, culture and history much more deeply. And
Yeah. No, and
the responsibility on us, our generation, to take this forward and not.
Yeah, totally. Because I always believe in like having the full knowledge about what even like our culture is. We need to like cultivate that in our day-to-day life, and I think that's going to help us more because then you are authentic to what you believe in. And I feel like as Indians, we have a lot of like culture right from our births. Look, say even if you talk about design element, also, I was thinking about it, and I was having a simple conversation with Mayuk and saying, what is design? Like I'm just a little confused. Is it like something which has to be super expensive, or it's something like a collectible, or it's an art piece? Then I just thought about it. I'm like, it actually starts with a home, and we have everything like right from our culture. Like we have small design elements which we need to like think about it, and that's when I thought about it, saying actually, you know what, we have so much to offer, and it's just like we stick to like only try to be cool, like say we are cool Indians or anything, maybe because for that particular season, but we don't understand the value what we get, and we don't embrace that at all. So I think we should start doing that and be authentic to ourselves. I think everyone will be proud of our culture.
And also I think, so I'm not a huge fan of social media, but I think social media has helped in this way that when it comes to this deeper knowledge, like when you see, um, it's really about Indian sort of asking for credit. They're asking for the need to be heard. Like, there was a time when it was very much like, oh, like, they've recognized it and wow, it's fantastic. And here, when the Kolhapuri thing came out, or when, say, LV, the entire set was the Saap Siri, basically, the snakes and ladders thing. And, you are like, okay, like, it's great, you've done that, but are you giving credit? And then you go on social media and you realize that you are coming from this, oh, like, I am asking them to give me credit, but are you giving credit to the people who are making the Kolhapuris in the first place? You're not doing that, right? You go there and you haggle for like $100. And here, like, you're praising this, whatever, $1,300 thing. Really, I mean, thank you to Design POV for facilitating this, for giving us the space to have this wonderful conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone for your time, and we indeed had a very insightful session, including that book now is a very much a point of a thing that everyone would want to just have a look. So yes, we would just want to have a token of gesture for everyone that thank you for your time and being at Design POP.